Okay, so this will be the topic of our, the header of our page, price prediction, and go ahead to create a div, put another div, okay, and still give it the same class. Okay, let's just copy the same class, input card, copy and paste it here. So what we're going to have in here should be let's see, enter property details. Let's see, details. Right, let's load and see what we're doing. Alright, so go ahead to create another div that says let's call this container, because this is like a container that will contain, okay, this body, we have body here, then inside the body we are going to have our heading, which is h1, which is this price prediction. Then inside then we'll now create a container, which is this div class container house price prediction. This container, essence of creating this container is like, let's say when you want to create a form, you have to create something that will contain all the elements you would have inside your container. So you may need to have your age, you may need to have something like area, location, age, and all that. So all these fields, you will need to have them inside a container so that it can contain all these things and they will not be scattered all over the web page. So a container is like bringing everything together so that you will have everything at one place. So inside this container, okay, inside this container we've created, we will have this div. We have this div which says enter property details. We still have another div. Let's call that one. Let's just copy this. No need of typing everything one after the other. Let's copy, come here, paste, and call this one. What do we call this one? No, we're not going to use div. Okay, let's use label. Label for, let's say, location. We want to add location here. So this is another element too for label. You want to label something, you use label. So we have it here. All these things will not make sense because we've not applied our styling yet. There is nothing here yet. So we can't see anything. It's just very ugly over here. But once we start applying our styles over here, we'll be seeing everything, how it will be going over here. So okay, let's stop here for now and style what we have been doing. So this is first of all, we would want this to be in the middle, this price prediction. So to do that, we have to give it a class. We have to first wrap it in a div and name the class container. Then copy this, place it inside the div container you just created. Yeah. Okay. Like this. Yes. So this is our heading, which is this. It is wrapped inside another inside a separate div for itself. Right, it can be able to separate itself from all the other elements. This is like a title of our like the title of our page. So you have to wrap it inside here. So whenever you see container, anywhere you see container, you know that you are referring to this price prediction, this page here. You are referring to this title here. So that's why we give it class. You can use ID too. You can use class or ID, but in this case, we are going to use class to identify that we are talking about this. Now, to style this thing, let me split my screen so that we can see our style. Let's split it to the left and carry index over here against this. Alright, so this is our style CSS. We want to, first of all, it targets the body. The body of this page is just white. We need to change it. Let's see. Let's call body, open curly braces. Let's give it a background color of let's say yellow, and we run. Oh, it's not linked yet, sorry. This page is not connected to this page, so that's why it's not going to work. So to connect it, we'll have to link it. Style sheet, style.csl, style, sorry, style. So we're trying to connect this guy, trying to connect these styles into this place, so that whatever we want to do here, as we are doing it here, it will be reflecting here. So connecting this guy into this place, we have to use this link element. Just type link and press enter to release the rest for you. Then in the href means it is referencing. What are you trying to reference? What do you want me to reference? It's trying to reference this sheet for you, this style sheet for you, so that once you are done with this, whatever you do here is going to appear here. So let's reload this, and still showing white. Let's use another message. We have L for static. Is it static or statics? Okay, yeah, static. And then file name styles. Alright. Control S. Reload. Gosh, it's giving me an error again. Control stop. Reload the application. It's throwing an error again. Control C. So I think I'll have to refer to this code. Okay. Yeah. What styles? I find him wrong. I think I'll have to use this to explain. Okay. I'll have to use this to explain because I feel like we're trying to run into an error again. Okay. Alright, so we're here. We're working on the same app though. We're working on the same app. That was the CSS. We're trying to link this to this place. So our CSS. We're trying to link the CSS to our web page so that whatever we give it here on our web page. So we gave it a background color of this color, light background. Okay, this is a light background looking like white. Then the container, yes, this is the prediction. This is the house price prediction that we are trying to style over there. We wrapped it in a container named div. This is the main header for the page. Then we highlighted it here using the dot container. The dot specifies that this is a class. You can see once you remove this dot, where is the dot? Okay, dot. Once you remove the dot, it does not recognize, the CSS does not recognize what you are typing because this is a class. So assuming this is not inside a class, this container is not inside, it's in there. If we are just an element, just like div or label or input or link, anyone, you can simply put it here. But because this is a class, you have to put the dots. Assuming we used ID here, let's say this is not a class. ID is equal to container. If you apply this on your web page, it's not because this container is not found here, but it is recognized because the dots represent class. So when you want to identify your ID inside your CSS, you have to use what's that again? Okay, you have to use hash. So when you use hash on this place, it will recognize that you are talking about this particular ID here. You can have another ID here, but it should not be the same with this name. The difference between ID and container, they are the same thing. You can use it for the same purpose, but because ID is just going, ID is ID. It's named ID because you cannot use it twice. Let's say you have an ID of container here, you cannot come and have an ID of container here again. But you can have a class of container here. You can have multiple containers named. You can have multiple classes named containers. But ID, you just have to use it once. So let's put back our class here. Yes, our class is equal to container. Come back here, we change this to dots, and here we are. So we give this element width of 90, max width of 800, margin auto, and padding of 20 pixels. We put our property details, the longitude of the house. You add it on the web page. This is the latitude. The same process. Use the same process for every element you want to add any value for the age of the house. If you let's say you want to add height. Okay, if there's anything like that, do the same thing because it's practically the same thing. Okay, still name your class. Let's say we call this one still input field. We are using class of input field here. We use class of input field here too. We use class of input field here too. Same thing applies to all of them. But you can't do this same thing with ID. You can't use ID here and use the same name everywhere. It's not going to work. So that's why we prefer using class for something like this. So let's say we have to add a property for height of the house. Still do the same thing and add everything we want to add. Label for height because we want to add height. Close it and height of house. Okay, this input helps you to determine the kind of input type you are the same. You can have input of a number. You cannot use number input in a place where you are supposed to have text input. Something like age. When you talk about age, what comes to your mind is number. So let's say, where is age here? Okay, what comes to your mind is number. So you cannot use an input type of text inside age. So our input type here is supposed to be number, because height, when we talk about height should be measured in numbers, not in string, not in letters. So we add number here and still give it an ID, a different ID of let's say height, and give it a name for height too. Yeah, placeholder is something that enter. Okay, add your height. Placeholder is something that takes the place of your text. When you want to fill a form, for example, where you're supposed to add your email, your password, you will see a very faint text that will say add your email. It's not a text that you can click or you can delete or something. You just have to click on the box and you start typing your email. So that's what you call placeholder. Just something that will be in place of text to tell you what to do inside that box. So let's say we want this height. We've added height, and this is how you can add any other properties you have in mind. Whatever properties you think you can add as much as you want, but this is where we are stopping for this project. Just let me remove this because we don't need it in our project. I just use it to demonstrate. Okay, so now we have our input fields. Where input field is where you can input the values of the house we are talking about, the total rooms, housing median age, population, total bedrooms, household, median income, and all that. This is what we have here. This is what we have here. Then styling it over here, we target our H1. We talked about this. We target our H1. The H1 is this, as you can remember. We give it the text we want. We give it this color, and so on. This is our card. This is our input field. All the input field we have here, all these classes of input field, this is how we want them to appear. This is our label, and it stands for the predict button, which is this button here. Like after you input your values, you need to click on a button that will submit all the values you just entered. Then the button will send, then clicking on the button will send all the information to the model, to our model, and the model will process it, run it, and return something for you. Return the predicted price. That is, the model will run down and then send it back to you. So this is the button. Okay, this is the button. We gave it a color. Okay, this is the button over here. Button to trigger the prediction. Once you click on it, it will start predicting. So this is our button. It is called predict price. Okay, now let's see. So to have access to this code, you have to go to the, and you can have access to the code. I showed us how to do that yesterday. So to have access to this, just go over there and you can see all these things that I'm talking about, and you can take your time to go through it. The more we have a very much limited time. Okay, so to see what we've been doing, this is the JavaScript. I'm yet to explain the JavaScript part. So, but to see just this, to see what we have here and here. To see what we have, just open our terminal and the name of our application is app.py, okay, and run python .py. app.py. It's loading. Okay, control click. Control click. Okay, let me close this and stop running this one. Where is that again? Okay. Control click. So this is what we have. This is what we have. Let's close this for now. Close this for now. Focus on this. And okay. So bringing this down. So this is what we've been trying to do since. So this is what we've been trying to do. Enter property details. We have it over here. The longitude, latitude, everything, they are of the same size. The box input of the same size. Why? Because we targeted it with the class of input field, and we gave it the same size. See input field here for longitude, input field class for latitude, and so on and so forth till median income. Then you can add as much as you want. Then come over to the style.css. Where is the input field? Yes, this is it. We gave it the same styling for everything. So this is the interface we have now. This interface we have. Then this is our predict price button. Once you click on it, it should take you somewhere. So I clicked on it now. And it's giving me an error because I haven't put anything here. I'm supposed to add something in all these places. Yes. So this process now is controlled by this JavaScript code we have down here. So explaining this, okay, let's go over to this place so that I can be able to explain. Alright, so this JavaScript is to handle form submission and to display the prediction results. This place is just to handle, once you click on this button, once you click on that predict price button, then this script will run and submit it. Because once if you don't do this, once you click on that button, it's not going to send anything. So the job of this part is to send it to the model. The model will process, then send it back to this through this process again, and then this space will return the value for you and display it for you. Then you can be able to see it. So to do this, we have this is a very long process, and we are not going to go into details. I'm just going to touch the necessary things. So let's say we want to talk about, okay, we want to know how it works. Now we are targeting this button here. This is only going to work once you click on this button. If you don't click on this button, this is not going to work. So when you click on this button here, which is this document.getElements by ID, we are trying to get this element here named predict button. Where is the predict button? This is it here. Get element by ID. Okay, this is an ID, that's why it is here. If it is class, I don't think it's going to work, but we are getting the element by ID using this predict button. Then add event listener. Event listener means how do I explain it? Okay, event listener means like getting this ID, clicking it, then start this, clicking on it, then start this, clicking on it, then begin from longitude. When you go to longitude, you get the value. You get the value for latitude. You get the value for housing median age. You get the value for bedrooms, population, and all these things. Where is my index? So that I can split. Okay, I can split it. Okay, so after getting them, you send this request to the server, which is this process we have here. Then once we are done, you will wait for the response to enter. And as we are waiting, you have sent this already to the model. We are waiting for it. Then after prediction rather, it's going to display using this command. It's going to display on your screen using this command. So it will show you the price that you would want to see on your page. But let's say there's an error somewhere. You're not supposed to add something you should add here. It will show you this error. It will show you an error here. Okay, so this block of code now is just to display something for you, just to show you where it's going to display. For example, let's reload this page because I've not, okay, let's reload the page. I haven't clicked on anything. I haven't clicked on the predict price, so it's not going to show me anything down here. It's when I click, it's not going to show me that I have an error because I haven't added anything inside any of these boxes. So until I click on it, this thing is not going to work. This code is not going to work. But once I click on it, that is when it should pop up. Alright, so this console.error, this is just to catch the error and display it for you on your page. Okay, so now let's test what we built. Let's say the longitude. What will I put at the longitude? Let's say we have 90.